Hi, so today I woke up with a thought, it's about national development, I've seen a lot of people have been getting plots from both private companies and councillors, chairmen, chiefs, and a lot of other people. But then it's very good that people are now getting to buy their own land and all of that stuff. But then there's a thought that has been on my mind recently because, look, I was thinking, why don't these people who give out plots work with authorities like ZESCO? Why do I say this? So imagine before they give out the plots, they go to ZESCO and tell ZESCO to say, we are planning to give out plots in this area. Can you come in and put in your electrical power lines? So ZESCO can come in first, they put in their power lines and all of that stuff. Then also water and sewerage companies. The sewerage companies can put in their pipes, both water and sewer, and ZESCO put in their power lines, and then you can now sell the plots. When people are coming in, they know very well that there's water already and there's power lines placed already. So as soon as they're done with their buildings, they can connect to ZESCO, they can connect to the sewerage companies, they can connect to water. Like, there's just that accessibility, and I've been around to so many places across the country, and I've seen how some places have not changed even for the past 10 years. There's just some places where you go to those places despite people building sometimes even beautiful houses, places are just so behind. Please, I don't want comments about boreholes and all of that stuff. It's 15,000 just to get the borehole done, without the overhead tank and all of that stuff. And how much is it to connect to a water and storage company? How much is it? Yeah. So keep that in mind. So like the borehole is supposed to be optional, it's supposed to be backup, maybe when there's no water, stuff like that. And some places, like I was saying, some places will never develop. Like they'll never develop, because for them to have the type of development where a water company comes in, where let's say ZESCO comes in, means some houses have to be brought down, because obviously some houses are gonna be below the power lines, below, like the power line is passing in the middle, and ZESCO doesn't do that. And then for water companies as well, they can't put a pipe beneath, or there's just a plan that these guys do, and then it will mean bringing down some houses. These are things that are supposed to be done first before people move into their before people start purchasing the land, so that, like I said, accessibility. That's why I feel like some places will never ever develop. There's just something about a place that has sewerage, a place that has water, from a water company, of course, a place that has electricity. You're gonna tell us about solars and all of that stuff, but there's just something about electricity. Just because we need to buy solar doesn't mean we don't deserve to have power lines in our area and all of that stuff. I feel so bad when I go to such type of places and the only thing they have is solar. What if the sun doesn't come out? Come on, guys. These are things that we can work on, and let's build a better Zambia together. Why am I even saying this? Nobody's gonna take me serious.